The Acolyte actress Amandla Stenberg is adding fuel to the fire for America First Legal's EEOC complaint against the Walt Disney Company. Before we get into this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. This is over at thatparkplace.com. Wrote this up this morning. And actress Amandla Stenberg claims the entire series of The Acolyte was developed with her in mind over 4 years ago, and this appears to show Disney quotas in action. So Stenberg did an interview with C Magazine to promote the upcoming The Acolyte show, which we still don't have an official release date from Lucasfilm or Disney Plus, but this is what she had to say to C Magazine. She says, "All the artwork was conceptualized with my face, and Leslie was like, so I've been working on this for about 3 or 4 years for you. I don't know what I'm going to do. If you don't do it, no pressure. So I was sent to the moon, of course." This revelation might be surprising to many, but it perfectly aligns with the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm's identity-based quota goals when it comes to casting. Stenberg is a Black woman who claimed to use they-them pronouns, telling Teen Vogue in 2016, "They-them makes me feel comfortable." She also has told Teen Vogue that she's a Black woman. So clearly using identity to try and move herself up the food chain, and it obviously worked for The Acolyte. But let's get back to these identity-based goals that the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilm have. We know that Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy made it very clear that she was trying to inject feminism and push female actors, female creators at Lucasfilm back in 2015. This is what she said during an appearance at Fortune Magazine's The Most Powerful Women Summit. She said, "I think the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products, because there were a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls. And when you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we were all looking at this situation saying, no, with Star Wars, we have to change this. We have to make sure that we create products that are, in a sense, appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that?" Well, we know what's wrong with that is that you ended up trying to appeal just primarily to girls and you abandoned the boys, and now your entire franchise is garbage and has been abandoned. Nevertheless, she went on to detail the fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company. And with the movies that we are making and with the protagonists that we are putting in the stories. So I get a huge amount of support with that. But we have 50% of our executive team are women, and 6 out of 8 of the people in my story group are women. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies. And the majority of the people involved in the development of those stories are women. And I think it's making a huge difference in the stories that we're trying to tell. So obviously, she was indicating that they had quotas to push women into their company, whether that's on the screen, in front of the screen, or behind the camera in executive positions and other positions in the company. Clearly indicating there that she has quotas to get women in the company. So confirm, Lucasfilm pushing women as far as back as 2015. And then we have this Reimagine Tomorrow site that the Walt Disney Company launched back in 2021. Again, that's 3 years ago. That's in the timeline that Amandla Stenberg was talking about, how Leslie Headland came to her 3 or 4 years ago, pitched this idea primarily about her. But you can see here, this was on their website in 2019. It says to establish inclusion standards across all Disney General Entertainment content by 2022, 50% of regular and recurring characters across Disney General Entertainment scripted content will come from underrepresented groups. That has been updated more recently, but it still says we are committed to inspiring a more inclusive world by reimagining the way we tell stories. And who tells them? Our intention is to broaden access and diversity in our industry by adopting inclusion standards across Disney General Entertainment and live action studio productions by the end of 2022, with the goal of advancing representation in front of and behind the camera in marketing and more. And then it links to the company's or at least the inclusion standards launched at ABC Entertainment in September 2022, or 2020, sorry, excuse me, 4 years ago, right? It's 2024, 4 years ago, September 2020. Fits neatly within the timeline that Amandla Stenberg is giving us. And then Here you can see these inclusion standards. Elon Musk made them famous. I've been talking about them for years and how they're just absolutely evil. And you can see here just one section says characters 50% or more of regular and recurring written characters come from underrepresented groups. And then another section says 50% or more of producer and above on writing staff, and 50% or more of co-producer and below on writing staff come from underrepresented groups. So clearly quotas in their hiring process. And this has now become subject to an EEOC complaint by America First Legal, which accuses the Walt Disney Company of engaging in systemic discrimination related to the illegal employment practices of the Walt Disney Company and its subsidiaries Disney in violation of Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And then it gives the code there. And then furthermore, their complaint says an unlawful employment practice is established when the evidence demonstrates that race, color, religion, sex, or national origin is a motivating factor for any employment practice. Here, Disney admits and affirms that it knowingly and intentionally uses race, color, sex, or national origin as motivating factors in its employment practices, and it uses that ABC Entertainment Inclusion Standard as an example, which I think is very clear that it does indeed do what they're accusing it of doing. So not only is Stenberg perfectly in this quota because she's got the sexuality, she's black, and then she also claims to be a woman as well. So she has all that going for her for the quotas, but she also is an activist, and she has no inhibition with playing the victim. This is what she told C Magazine when she said she had to deal with racists in her role as Rue in the Hunger Games, which I don't recall any of that stuff. It's probably people complaining that the character was race swapped, if indeed it was, but I doubt that people were actually being racist towards her. We saw Moses Ingram tried to make that claim, and all of her evidence was just complete bunk. And then you had Ewan McGregor just making a fool of himself doing that car video, which was clearly PR, trying to claim that she was being subjected to this stuff when the evidence that she actually showed was to the contrary to that. But anyways, this is what Stenberg said. She says, I think already at age 12, I was like, yeah, people are racist. Why are y'all surprised? When I reflect on it, I don't remember being very upset about it. I remember feeling that I don't give a flying F what these racist people think of me. I think bigots don't really bother me. Clearly, I think you are upset by these people that you're calling bigots. You wouldn't say that. You wouldn't have that kind of language for them if you weren't bothered by them. But I doubt that they probably aren't anyways, and you just don't like that they're actually providing valid criticism, that you probably shouldn't have been cast in that role. And it's probably also some recognition that you got these roles because of these quotas that companies like the Walt Disney Company have. Not only has she basically said that just recently, I mean, she's been doing this for a very long time. You can go back to 2015. Obviously, the they-them stuff clearly is showing that activism, signaling that she's on a certain side of that debate, and that you should ally, quote unquote, ally with her, right? Well, back in 2015, she also did a video for Hype Hair magazine titled "Don't Cash Crop on My Cornrows," where she made the accusation that celebrities wearing cornrows that are not black was cultural appropriation. Obviously, a ridiculous claim. It's just utterly stupid when you actually go in and look at it. Then I don't think we really need to get into this, but these comments are just the latest confirming that this show was made with the intention to push, as the Critical Drinker says, the message and wokeness. And it's obviously not the first piece either. You can go through all of this stuff here in the article. We've got comments from Jody Turner Smith. We've got comments from, what is this guy's name down here? Charlie Barnett. I didn't even include the previous comments that Stenberg has made or the comments that Leslie Headland has made about this show. There's a plethora of stuff that came out during Star Wars Celebration 2023 where these people were just basically saying this is the message show for Star Wars. But just to wrap up, let me know what you guys make of Amandla Stenberg's comments here. What do you think about her basically confirming the timeline of the Reimagine Tomorrow campaign, and how it does appear that she was the beneficiary of these identity-based quotas that are now the subject of an EEOC complaint? Let me know what you guys make of that in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, but to always speak the truth.